Seamless. United in the Europa League. Europa League. We tell them one time and we say Europa League. Europa.
Real Sociedad 1, Manchester United 1 in the round of 16. First leg in the Europa League, as you can hear. The theme song says it all, United in the Europa League. What did we all make of that? Well, I kind of spoke about it towards the end of the match view there with Flex and KG. That it is a weird one, isn't it? Because for all intents and purposes, that's a good result for Manchester United, really, isn't it? You know, that's not a bad result. Away from home, first leg. If you've got the first leg away from home and the second leg, you know, at home, you largely just kind of go, well, get out of there. We're still in the tie. Said it on the match preview. Just stay in the tie, and then really you win it in the second leg at home. But it goes back to a lack of trust, isn't it? It goes back to a lack of trust and just kind of general worry about this Manchester United team and their fragility, particularly at home, which is I suppose maybe why we're a bit down or gloom-trodden coming out of that match, even though it's a 1-1 draw, which isn't the worst result in the world. Really concerned about a lack of options. We knew that the team at the moment kind of picks itself, not for a good reason, actually for a bad reason, because we've got just nobody else. And I don't know. I don't know. I have this incredible feeling of sort of numbness for a lot of these Manchester United games at the moment, where I'm just a bit like, again, I don't know. Hopefully you're better at articulating that than I. This is the full-time view where members can call in and have their say. If you do wish to become a member, you can do so. Links in the video description. It's also pinned in the chat. If you are a member and you do wish to call in and have your say, you can go over to the United View YouTube page, go over to the community tab, and you can find the link there. It's exclusive only for members. So it's one of the perks of being a member. So if you do wish to call in and you go, I tell you what, actually, I want to have my say, you got to become a member. Click the join button. It's also pinned in the chat. Let's get straight into the calls then. This evening, let's get straight into the reaction from you guys coming out of the game in Spain against Real Sociedad. Let's start with Connor. Connor, what did you make of what you saw this evening?
Owen.
Yes.
I just want to quickly build off what you just said a second ago. When you know it's a match day, you sort of get this feeling of, oh, my club's on that. I get to see him play football. I'm excited. I think they're going to play well. We're going to win. We're going to have fun. That's the hope you have. And then you remember you support Manchester United. You remember you have Diogo Dalot on the team, or Nana. You remember that you have a bench where the most experienced player is Christian Eriksen and Victor Lindelof, and then you have no one else. You have so much hope, and then you get brought back down to reality. Like, it's just so crushing. And then you just have to think, what's the point anymore with this team? What's the point? It's like today I was sat in work and I thought, I was sat in work and I thought, oh, United are on tonight, you know. Oh, it's Sociedad away. It might be a bit of a tough match, that, you know. And I thought, do you know what? Sociedad, they're like 10th in the league. They're not having the best season. They didn't get through automatically. They had to go through the playoffs, you know. We're unbeaten in Europe this season so far. You know, maybe his team will show up and do something. And it shows the IQ of this team. I get some brilliant football tonight, you know, brilliant breaks. And it's just a few players with their IQ being so low. I believe it is in the lower half of double digits. Like, I don't believe it exceeds 30 in some of these players' IQ. Like, you have Diogo Dalot with the ball on the right-hand side, outside the box, Højlund making a darting run into the box. What would you do in that scenario?
Yeah, well, you would think you would just put the ball in the box, wouldn't you? You think
No, Owen. No. You cannot simply think that, because we are dealing with Manchester United players here. They do not think. They just think, what can I do here to not help the team? Let's drive into the box. Do you know, like, if you was to come into a junction and it was a red light and you know you had to stop, these players would still drive into the junction, stopping any other car from moving until they can get through. They have no IQ.
And did you, when it comes to them with that, is there anything that Ruben Amorim can do then, or does he have to just watch on in horror for the rest of the season?
Go to church, pray, ask for a miracle, get them to do double lessons, make them sleep at Carrington. They wake up at 6, they do 3 hours of learning, then they have to do 3 hours of training, 3 more hours of learning, dinner time, which is just soup and toast. And I think that's pretty much all they can do. Just a hardcore regiment of training for these because they don't have anything else. Obviously, we will be funding just like, have you ever seen like in the like natural disaster, Joe, those like cot type beds? Joe, like Ratcliffe said he can only get a few of those that are broken down. Maybe they're missing a leg or two, but better than nothing, I suppose.
Yeah, better than nothing.
But some bright points of the match. Joshua Zirkzee. Week after week, he is improving.
Yeah.
Week after week, he's showing why he deserves to get a chance at this club. Like, we brought him in as a striker. He was sort of pinned as this player that can play the 9, can play the 10. He plays in between them. In the Ruben Amorim system, he's playing behind a striker and he's linking up play brilliantly. Some of his passes may need a bit of improvement, like, not saying that he's like a finished product now. He's been probably one of our better players over these past few matches. So, like, what match was it we played before the Sociedad match? I forget. Fulham, yeah. Fulham, he was creating chances in that. In the match before that, he was doing well. He's been doing really well. I think it's just going to come down to building a team around players that... building a team around players that are not going to be here next season. Like, building a team around players... the players that are going to be here next season, not the players that aren't. Because I think there's about 15 players in this squad who aren't going to be here next season.
Can we get rid of them all? Can we get rid of all of those players, 15 players?
I'll make it a mission. I'll go to Ratcliffe. I'll say, listen, mate, if they go missing, you won't have to pay the wages. Just give me a fan. I'll kidnap a few of them, hold them in a factory for a few weeks until they go missing and, get rid of them.
Well, we can't condone kidnapping, can we? You know what I mean? It's just kind of... Can't really, kind of advocate for kidnap. I mean, it's kind of, it was going well, wasn't it? It was going well for Connor, and it kind of just towards the end, you got to know those kind of. I'm pretty sure that's against TOS here on YouTube. You know what I mean? It's probably against TOS, maybe against TOS, perhaps. But it's fine. It's fine. Look who else is in the chat. Joe Blackburn once again. This guy's in the chat again. He's always available in the chat. Never available. Doesn't want to reach out to people. Doesn't really want to. He might try and get sort of my contact details by reaching out to, someone very distant from me. He'll reach out to, I don't know, Flex's cousin to see if he can get in touch with me. Maybe Rich Eagle Eye Football. Maybe that might be the time to do it. So that might be. All I can say is I've heard some rumors that, there is going to be a big reckless lawsuit on the horizon. I do know the judge in this situation as well, which is KG the judge as well. THA KG the judge. So yeah, I think that's probably good. And just an official statement from Connor as well, just an official one, because sometimes you need to. This is the internet, and these things last forever. My official statement is that it is a joke and not in a serious way to kidnap United players. So just once again, just to clarify, Connor was not suggesting that he was going to kidnap any of the Manchester United players in an effort to sell them in the summer. That was not. Just again, as Connor says there, for YouTube TOS, you don't want to break TOS. You've got to be just a bit careful, bit careful. That's fine. Let's see if we've got any quotes from Ruben Amorim coming out of that draw. Ruben Amorim on Alejandro Garnacho on the right. He says, we look at the opponent where the spaces are. So we tried different things. He says we were in control until the penalty and then the dynamic changed. We take the result. It'll be a different game at Old Trafford. The pressure is on us. And it's that bit at the end, isn't it? it'll be a different game at Old Trafford with the pressure on us. That's why we're worried. That's why we're concerned, isn't it? Really, is because we know these players, we know these guys, we know this team. Pressure at home. This is Manchester United, where one of our bigger accomplishments over the last few years was this undefeated away record that was largely built on when no one was watching. It's like that phrase, isn't it? If a tree falls in the wood but no one's there, did it even make a noise? If Manchester United go on an unbeaten away run but nobody's watching, did it even happen? You tell me. That's the concern. You tell me. Big up Cello Boy Comics, a regular contributor to his channel and a regular contributor to this show. And he can't make it this evening, but he's contributing in his own way. He says, unfortunately, can't join the call, but I'm very pleased with Xerxes. He finally woke up in the Spurs game and adjusted to the speed of the Premier League. I think the team bonding session helped his confidence. Needs to kick on, will be important for us. To be fair, I think that with Xerxes, I mentioned this after the Fulham game, probably the most involved I'd seen him actually regularly in the game for United. A lot of touches, a lot of passes, a lot of moves. He's not perfect. He's still a way to go, but I think there is certainly a difference in confidence. You can kind of see a difference in confidence with him in the last few games, definitely. I mean, this is a guy that, to be fair, it's a pretty decent turnaround. This is a guy that he got substituted after, 20 minutes, 25 minutes against Newcastle at the end of last year, December 30th, that game was against Newcastle at home. Now, the other day, when the substitutions happened, he looked surprised that he was staying on. This evening, he scored a goal. As I mentioned, if it was the other way around and that goal had got in against Andre Onana, I'd be furious because it's in the middle of the goal. But as KG said, don't care, don't give a shit. We need goals, and we need our attacking players to score goals. So as much as we criticize Joshua Xerxes for not being a goal scorer, 9.5, you know what? If he gets the ball in the back of the net, fair play, because people weren't saying that before the match. That's a positive part from it. Obviously, a negative part is there are still some individual performances that are absolutely, big up Chalaboy Comics, are absolutely dreadful. Dallo, I mean, to people do use the analogy, he's been space jammed, but it's like really true. Really true. At points, this guy can't pass the ball. At points, this guy, there was that period in the first half where he couldn't control it, passed it out for a throw, and he sort of put his hand and went, "Oh, sorry." And then immediately after that, gave away a free kick, and it's an opportunity for them in the box, and you're like, "Oh, I don't." And I do. It just opens up the Højlund discussion once again, doesn't it? Where that for that opportunity in the first half, where Dallo, he does everything right. He bends his run, great pass through. All you got to do, pass it across goal. Højlund's made the good run. It's there for a tap in. That's 1-0 Manchester United, and that is one of those times where it's like actually that the argument about service is true. Like Rasmus Højlund there, if he gets better service, he probably scores. He probably scores that goal. But in my opinion, it is a major oversimplification to suggest that because of that, Rasmus Højlund isn't accountable for anything in that game because just service. You saw what the Dallo won, service. Didn't get service in that game. And you go, well, like with any solution, it's a bit more multifaceted than that. Yes, he should have got better service for that opportunity. And if he scored that would have been good for him. But sometimes in football, it doesn't go your way. And what you have to do is keep going and do the other things good. And he doesn't do the other thing good. What we didn't largely see him for the rest of the game. A couple of times, got pretty comfortably dealt with by the centre-backs. Was on the floor a couple of times. Couldn't really hold up the ball. And that's kind of Rasmus Højlund in a nutshell, isn't it? Where, all right, yeah, you can say the service thing for the Dallo one, sure, but that's one incident across 90 minutes. And what else is he doing? Not that much. Now, I think those that are criticising Ruben Amorim for I can't believe he kept Højlund on. Well, what else is he really going to do all that much, You know, who's he going to bring on? Look towards that bench. We've got no one. we've got no one, and I do think that there should be this attention turned to Ineos, to obviously the Glazers, and to the recruitment team going, you realize that I know we didn't have a lot to play for in the second half of the season, and I know that we didn't, you know, the likelihood of us really winning or qualifying for Europe is pretty slim, but we kind of did put the nail in our own coffin with what happened at the weekend, in January. We did put the nail in our own coffin. Letting go Rashford and Anthony, correct decisions. Get them off the wage bill, no problem with that. They weren't doing that much anyway, fine. But the decision not to replace them and left us light, and then have Ahmad be out for the rest of the season, Cobb be out for an extended period of time, we're light with attacking players that don't score goals anyway. Now, that's not to say Matisse Tau was the option, you know, because the finances weren't right in that deal. Not an issue, but we are light. And we now can't really be too surprised when we're not scoring goals because, well, we knew these guys weren't going to really be scoring that many goals, and we got rid of people that we should have got rid of, but we brought nobody else in. So the season was maybe written off quite a long time ago, perhaps. But it's not. And again, like, look at that scoreline, 1-1 away from home. You go, that's not bad. I'll go to Spain against Spanish sides, but actually our record away in Spain is not too bad. It's when they come back to Old Trafford. When we got knocked out against Sevilla and Jose was there, we drew at Sevilla and we lost at Old Trafford. Next week, I don't know about you guys, but I just feel like that this one, it's one of two ways, I think. I think either we just lose, you know what I mean? We'll just lose in the 90, Real Sociedad win and they go through. Or I think it goes all the way and maybe we get through on like penalties or something. We're not comfortable, are we? We're not going to. Next week, we know for a fact the only team that's going to be comfortable and go through is Real Sociedad. We can go through, but it won't be comfortable. Real Sociedad can go through and be comfortable. We will, if we go through, we'll not be comfortable because we just don't do that. I mean, we don't do sort of comfortable. It'll be fine, no problem. That's why the other day, I forget what preview it was, when Flex was like, "Oh, we could just win this game 3-0." What are you fucking talking about, Flex? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. For win that comfortably 3-0. You're taking the piss. We don't know. We don't see that. Let's see if we get any more quotes from Ruben Amorim coming out of the game in Spain. He said, Joshua Xerxes said, we have to be relentless when we have chances. We had enough of them today. We're playing against a good footballing team, so it's not easy. But in the end, we should have had at least one more goal. Did we get anything else from Ruben Amorim? He says we had some good sequences of possession right up until the penalty. Our decision-making in the final third isn't always the best. No shit. But we had some good moments in the game. He says when we look at the opponent, this was about Garnacho playing on the right. We spoke about that as well. Amorim on Højlund, he said he's trying really hard. He gave everything to make runs. We knew Sociedad defend with a high line. He used that to fight. He has to continue to play, not be anxious. He needs to think in case of the next game, which is funny that he used the word anxious there, isn't it? It's funny that he used the word anxious because it's something that Flex had mentioned quite a bit, that you do get that with Rasmus, you know, again, with the wrestling and the backing into the player. And then because he doesn't touch the ball for a while, then he gets anxious about when the next time he touches it, this has got to be good. It's got to be good. And you feel it. It doesn't feel smooth with him. I don't think it doesn't feel smooth. I see people in the chat talking about Patrick Dorgu as well, saying that Dorgu didn't have the best game. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I would agree with that, saying that Dorgu didn't have the best game. But I would say let's be very, very careful here with the route that we're going down, because we saw actually one of the super chats towards the end of the match. He was like that, wasn't it? Like Patrick Dorgu, is that going to work? Blah blah blah. And we're like, oh, really? We're doing this already? Like when a new signing comes in, basically, and if they have one bad game, if they don't have consistently a superb game every single time, then they're shit. Basically, You as Swift there says, it would have been worse if he went off injured when he went down. Yeah, we were all worried when he went down, going, no, we can't lose Patrick. And he plays the rest of the game. We're like, he's not that good, actually. And we'll probably be saying the same thing when he doesn't play against Arsenal at the weekend because he's suspended. We missed Patrick Dorgu today. He can have a bad game. That's why when we were chatting about it before kickoff, that was my concern because, for all of the chatter and talk about, he should play more of the youngsters. He should, do this, do that. Patrick Dorgu's 20. Patrick Dorgu's 20, playing for Manchester United. He's just signed. It's going to be up and down. We're a rubbish team. We're not good. It's not like Patrick Dorgu's coming into the Manchester United team of the mid-2000s where they can carry him whilst he adjusts. He's gone in, and already the expectation is you've got to help us because we don't. Otherwise, we've got to play Dallo at left wing back again, and we can't do that. So you're going to have to be brilliant. And this is Man United in a nutshell at the moment, which is these younger players, Dorgu, Cobby, Garnacho, now Cheeto, Lenny Oro, these players that are like 18, 19, 20, they come in and we're like, you've got to be amazing because the players that are like mid to late 20s, early 30s, they don't do it. And it's almost like we've given up on them. You're not, you guys, we know you're past, you can't do it. But you young guys, you've got to bail us out. You have to. You have to bail us out. And by the way, if you don't bail us out, we'll write you off just as quickly. We'll say that's not, no, you can't. You can't. And it's like, well, look where we are in the league. We're 15th. Patrick Dorgu, when we signed him from Lecce, we're going, well, he's young. He was playing in a team that's competing in relegation. Doesn't mean he can't adapt, but it's going to take time. And every game, he's been pretty good. Got red card. It happens. Young player. Now it's, shit. So, yeah, we just need to, I think, pump the brakes a little bit with that one. I think just pump the brakes a little bit. Did he have the best game? No. A lot of players didn't have the best game this evening, and a lot of players haven't been having the best game all season. I do kind of think this, which is quite interesting, to be fair. Like coming out of this one, this time next week, well, I think we might be playing at 8:00. But this time next week, by the end of Thursday next week, our season might be done. Really, like it really might. By next week we could be out the Europa League, and then that's it. Then we'll just drift for the rest of the season. So the hope is that we're still in this tie right now. We can continue to still be in this tie. Hopefully go through to the next round. I mean, what were the other results actually in the Europa League this evening? Not that they'll end up like this, but I mean, obviously there'll be some playing at the moment, won't there? What were the results? So Spurs lost 1-0, but of course they'll be going back to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Rangers won 3-1 in Fenerbahce. Bloody, that's a fantastic. I tell you what, Rangers go through. Rangers go through that. Fenerbahce got at Ibrox 2-0 down, basically. Well done. Lyon won 3-1 against FCSB. And then the games at the moment, Lazio 1-0 up against Victoria Pilsen. Bodo Glimt 1-0 up against Olympiacos. Ajax 1-0 up against Frankfurt. And Roma versus Bilbao. There's two clubs that are pretty decent, so one of them will take each other out. It is kind of all to play for, but are we good enough? I don't know. Let's go to another call. Let's go to Amanor. Amanor, what did you make of that this evening?
Evening, Owen. Can you hear me, first of all?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, brilliant. Thanks. It's not pillow talk yet, but I am in my pajamas. Ready to go
yes,
to bed.
Exactly. No pillow talk just now. We're serious Amanor. It's serious Amanor this evening. Yes, business Amanor. That's what we like to see.
Oh, I'll be honest with you, Owen. I watched the game, and for me, it's just a reflection in terms of where we are in terms of attacking play. I'm getting to the point now. I'll single out a couple of players, but I'm getting to the point. If I talk about the manager in particular, I'm expecting him to have improved a couple of players in terms of what they're delivering, and I'm not seeing that improvement that he promised that he would instill. I mean, for example, I'm not blaming him, but Dorgu, when he first came in, he was really well, and maybe it was an off day today, but he seems to develop the Bozo gene at United, whereby he's not sure what he's doing now. Whether is that because of He's got an injury, etc. But fundamentally, my concern is with the manager that yes, he's got a system to play, but I need to see him coaching some of these players to deliver what he's doing, and I'm just not seeing that. And the certain players like Dalot, who I just think is regressing now, genuinely regressing under Amarin, and Garnacho, who I think is a maverick now. I genuinely think the manager asks him to do certain things, like pass the ball, when to pass, shoot when to shoot, but he's just doing his own thing. So that's my view on the manager up to now. Not just specifically this match, but so do you sort of agree with that, Owen, or do you have a different view? Or
I mean, I was just speaking about Dorgu there. I mean, I don't think it's, I think for him it's probably just an off day. I think the thing is, though, some of these players are dreadful, but then I know we're going to get show on it a bit, and he'll say, which other people say, well, you don't always get, your best players. You don't always get the players that you want. So because of that, you've got to work with what you got. But I suppose maybe the pushback is, what if they're completely unworkable? Perhaps. I'm not sure. I mean, again, a lot of these players I've just got zero faith in, to be honest, Amal. I just don't trust them. I know we're still technically in the tie, but I don't know. This group of players, I just don't see it. I just don't.
And that's fine, but the Amarin, the poet, and he speaks very well. I'm sure he does, but why, for me, aren't the players not listening to his instructions? I'm sure. I feel like I'm having the repeat conversation I had on Ten Hag. What is he now doing in training? I know he's been in here for 5 months. I would have expected some sort of, not necessarily the style. I can see the formation, but patterns of play merging from the back to the front. It comes, for example, we build up. Defensively, we seem to be okay, but when we go for the midfield to the third, Bruno and Casemiro seem to be doing well. But when we go to the attack, I'm not seeing any triangles, or I'm not seeing Højlund will never able to hold a play, but I'm not seeing those triangles or the penetration to go over the top. What is the plan when we attack? I just feel like it's almost they sort of make up on the spot how they're going to attack. And I think partly as well, we miss Leach so much, because I don't know if you remember this, I said to you a couple of streams ago, Leach is the guy who actually brings the ball from the back and triggers the attack. We don't have that in the team, and for that reason, I feel like it's suffering. So he needs to. I'm just confused in terms of what is his plan for attacking wise. I mean.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, is it also stem from the situation that we've got players in that team that can't score goals? I mean, we've got Højlund, always score goals. Yes, he should have got a better delivery from Dalot, but also outside of that, he doesn't really do enough. Garnacho, it feels like his end product's actually getting worse, to be fair, in terms of being wasteful. Xerxes, to be fair, does score his goal, but we shouldn't be relying on him to score goals because he's not a goal scorer. He said it himself. So where did those goals even come from?
And you're right, Owen. I mean, like, I was critical. I sent a super chat in. I don't remember this. That's what was the match. I said Dalot and Garnacho should be subbed off. But I'm thinking to myself, when Garnacho got subbed off, we genuinely had no threat. So is it all to do with? Is it all blame lies on Garnacho in terms of not passing, etc.? Partly, but when he's not on the pitch, where are the other people stepping up to score? Where's Højlund? Where's Bruno? Where's the other attackers to sort of pose that threat? For me, the frustration thing is that I'm going to the match next Thursday. I actually bought the ticket to go to Old Trafford to watch Real Sociedad. Hopefully meet up with Flex. But I'm going to that match thinking, we're in the tie, but I genuinely don't know whether we've got enough ammunition to score a goal in open play to win that tie. If it goes to penalties, last week, as you know, we lost the penalties. I just don't know whether we've got the cutting edge to sort of progress. I don't think we'll win the Europa League, but just to win the match, I don't have that belief in our attacking play.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree. Big up, Amanor. Appreciate you calling in as always. Amanor locked in. Wasn't time for pillow talk just yet, but it's still early. You might be a bit like me. It's before 9. You know what I mean? Probably not. Probably not. Maybe next time. Let's go to another call. Let's go to Show. Show. Was it painful at times to watch? But will you take a draw coming out of that?
I don't know about painful. Well, not for me anyway. Just because I've kind of become desensitized to it. Yeah, it's just used to it. I mean, it's sad to say, but I think today was probably one of our better performances of late. I know it's such a low, so that's even the thing. So it's like I come out today, I'm going draw. Yeah, I mean, a lot of us would have taken the draw before the game. That's not to say that many of us will be confident at home because of how poor we are at home, but weirdly at home in the Europa League, we've not been that bad actually. So yeah, and looking at Sociedad today, they weren't that good. That's the disappointing thing, and it just seemed like after the penalty again, it's the usual thing for us when if we go ahead, if we get pegged back, we never have the mentality to go and try and score again. It's always the same thing. We end up kind of sitting back and letting the opposition dominate us, lose confidence, and then it's like a game that we look so in control of ends up being one that we're holding on to, which is what happened in the end. And it's the same old story, like like you guys said during the match view, basically just lack of attacking edge, which we know we have. So it's not like a surprise when we see it. We know we have the lack of quality. Garnacho again today, just a straight up refusal to pass to his teammates, in the attacking third. And
yeah, what did you make when? Because obviously he came off, and then there was that he didn't have the best look on his face, and he looked upset on the subs and on the sub bench. And I saw you sort of saying, well, you've missed a load of chances. You can't be angry that you've come off, when you've not taken your chances. But then, Amanor sort of saying, as we've seen in recent games, when he comes off, we do lack an attacking threat. But if you're going to miss the chances, then you can't expect to be not taken off, can you?
No, I agree with that point. I mean, if it was, I would have taken Højlund off because I agree, Garnacho carries a threat. What my point with Garnacho is that when you do get taken off, you can't be shaking your head when you play like how you do week in, week out. Like, show some humility. Like, again today, you've cut inside and shot literally every single time, barring the time where he set up Xerxes for the goal, right? Which shows that if you can set up someone for a goal, that it works, why don't you do that more often? Why don't you make that choice more often when it works? That's the weird thing about him, but he's one of them guys, at least it comes across to me anyway, that he wants the personal glory over the team glory. That's just the way he plays, that it looks to me anyway. So many times today he could have passed it to Dorgo on the overlap. I know Dorgo was quite poor today with his final output anyway, but Dorgo very rarely gets the ball from Garnacho. That's a common occurrence, right? So yeah, I mean, I still think Garnacho stretches the pitch for us more than anyone, simply because he's the only one in our front 3 or 4 that has kind of decent pace. That's the only thing. I mean, Højlund today again was practically anonymous, as he usually always is. But yeah, it's just I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's hard to come on here and kind of talk about new things. Really, like you want to talk about something like, oh, I saw this new thing. Like I saw this today. I didn't see that last week. Even if like the result was 1-1, if we saw something today which was like, oh, we can take that forward to the Arsenal game, that's all right. I can take that. I can live with that. It's kind of more of the same. So, I mean, like I said in Super Chat just at halftime, 20 consecutive first halves without an open play goal is diabolical on any level. Let's be honest. Like, I mean, the fact that 7th of December against Forest, when we last scored a first half open play goal, I get people's point when they say Amorim needs his players, and I get it. That's fair enough. Amorim needs his players to get to that, the top point, right? But on the way there, you need to improve, right? Certain bit by bit, and not being able to score an open play goal in the first half for this many months is, I just think, unacceptable at any kind of squad level.
Yeah. No, I agree. Big up, show. Appreciate you calling in as always. And to be fair, show's right. It's weird because, like I said at the top of the show, 1-1, it's not the worst result in the world, but there is this feeling of just like, but that's like that in every game. And it's like that going into every game. That I live for the day where I'm still getting like, not that you don't get excited when Man United play, because you still do. But with that kind of sort of match day feeling, it'll just be, my big thing is like 30 seconds before kickoff or a minute before kickoff, when you see the players walk out onto the pitch, and you get that kind of like, yeah, proper buzz. It's match day. Just don't get that at the moment. Just don't. That's why I think people were probably, opening their eyes at Marcel, going, sexy football. Don't know about that. But I haven't watched Sociedad now tonight. I can see why Barcelona beat them 4-0 at the weekend, because they're not that good, are they? I mean, they had players missing, in fairness. Zubameni will come back. That'll probably help them. But yeah, that's Manchester United, isn't it? There you go, guys. That's the full-time view. If you're watching this after the fact and you want to call in next time, all you got to do is become a member. You can click the link in the video description or click the join button. What else is on tap? Well, tomorrow, it's a really quick turnaround, actually, as well, guys. So tomorrow, of course, I have the morning view, Flex and myself, 9 a.m. We'll also have an episode of the Trinity. Will be coming out at 7 p.m. But it's the build-up to the Arsenal game on Sunday at Old Trafford. So over the next couple of days, you're going to be getting a bit of Manchester United and Arsenal crossover content. I know Flex is going to be with the one Don Robbie. Wait a minute. Maybe we'll see if he actually does it. Wait a minute. Why am I even doing it? I mean, I've got the guy himself.
Hold on, wait a minute.
We'll probably hear this.
Hold on, wait a minute, Flex.
We'll probably hear that over the next coming days. So all that fun stuff is coming. And of course, on Sunday, we'll have the match view and hopefully 3 points. We'll have a good time. Yeah, we'll have a good time. Yeah, probably. I won't commit to a win or anything like that. Anyway, click the like button. Have a good evening, guys. And I'll see you tomorrow morning. I'm out of here. Peace.